Will Stewart from OnlineChessLessons.net, taking a look at Game 2 of our Vegas Poolside Blitz match that I played with Ron Henley at the Riviera Hotel this summer. And so we're starting off. Ron opens up with d4, and here I think he thought I was going to play the King's Indian defense. I had kind of prepared that, talked to him a little bit about it during the recent tournament, but I played the Grunfeld with d5 instead, so that's why he might have looked a little confused there. So always nice to spring a nice little surprise on the opponent early in the game, and now I decided to go with knight b6. It looked like he went to take on d5 and then play knight c3, gaining a tempo, and so now Ron goes with it's not passive, this fianchetto, but it's very solid, the structure he chooses here. So I force him to play d5 early. Also, it's possible to play knight d7 and c5, I think, but I like this plan more direct for black here. White castles. Okay, so white's got the pawn on d5. Black should be able to generate some counterplay in this position, either by playing c6, or it doesn't really seem time for that, or also the plan I chose in the game with the early castles, and then I chose to go with f5. Just trying to gain space, just trying to get in where you fit in, pretty much. So here he goes. I go king h8, preparing f5. He plays queen b3, which I don't think was actually a very good move, because I instantly respond with a5. And so now with a4, I'm gaining. I want to do that anyway, cramp down on his queenside. So now f5 is a good time. I can also play rook a5 here. Pretty cool move. Rook a5, trying to play rook c5 in some lines. Also trying to win the d5 pawn. That's a neat idea. Didn't see that during the game. So in this position, he goes with e4, and this definitely makes sense. He wants to stop me from playing e4. If I play e4, then rook a5 is just devastating, going after the d5 pawn. So here, yeah, this is pretty dicey stuff. I don't know. I ended up settling on a pretty common sense move. I don't really see too many other options other than bishop d7. Suppose I could play h6. It's not very impressive. Bishop d7 is probably the best move. Just go ahead and develop, prevent any problems with him playing knight to b5, trying to win a pawn, or whatever. I mean, just develop. It makes a lot of sense to develop, especially when you're running a long time in a blitz game. So here, I don't know. Black has a lot of ideas. h6, g5. Those definitely seem possible. Ron's decision here, he plays bishop to g5. And this is very justified. Where does he put the bishop? It's very tough to find a square. If bishop e3, maybe I play knight c4 and try to chase his bishop around. Also, I could reroute my knight to d6 like that. That's a good square for my knight there. So I think his decision here, although my knight on e7 is also kind of a problem piece for me. There's not a lot of squares for it. But I think he played bishop g5 here with the intention of preventing me of playing h6 and g5, expanding so much on the king side. This king side attack could be kind of dangerous for him. So that's definitely, he must have been thinking that. So he plays bishop g5, and I just got to play h6. There's really doesn't seem much choice. I mean, nothing else really makes sense there. Got to play h6. He decides to capture, and so that helped him get rid of a bad piece, but it also helped me get rid of the bad piece. So also develops my queen, right? That's a free developing move I get there because he kind of initiated that exchange, more or less. Now he takes on f5, and this is very complicated. It didn't really make so much sense for him to play, if we go back and move, if he played f4 here. It doesn't make sense for him to open up my dark squared bishop, especially. Now that I got the two bishops, it's going to help me out for him to open the position up. Right? He doesn't want the position to open. So what he tries to do here, I take with the pawn. What he tries with f4 to do is that he wants to force me to play e4, in which case he'll play knight d4, and he'll have great squares. He'll have great squares for his knights. The center will be closed. My pawn on f5 will be a big weakness. But I was able to find queen c5, which was a nice move. He goes king h2, and now I can play e4, and now he cannot play knight d4 under any circumstances. Whereas if I had played e4, knight d4, queen c5, he has queen f2. Maybe something like that, breaking the pin. So now white is in a lot of trouble here. but it's a very playable position. The thing is, I'm threatening knight c4 and knight to e3, right? That's pretty easy. We can see that. I don't know. Maybe he's got a... I mean, maybe just rook ac1 seems like the most logical move. Rook ac1, knight c4, knight b1. May sound a little crazy. It looks possible. Or even just to run through that line quickly again, rook ac1, knight c4, knight takes a4, rook takes a4, b3. You know, he's got a lot of options there. My position is the queen's a little loose, but instead he goes with b3. I think Ron started getting a little low on time, and after pawn takes, you know, he's got to take with the pawn here. He played queen takes b3, rook a3, and this just loses a piece, right? So tough game for Ron in that one.
This is
Wilson from Online Shots. Is that it?
Yes. Give me a smile. Want to do it? This video was made with help from JCat of Right Media Group. www.rightmediagroup.com/JCat.